Hey everybody, today I'm going to be reviewing Milwaukee's 2653 1/4" hex impact driver. Now this is part of their M18 FUEL series of tools, which means not only is it compatible with all the other M18 batteries and chargers, but it also features their newest technology. And the main one of those is going to be the brushless motor in here. That's going to give you more power, more runtime, and a lot longer battery life compared to a brushed model. Now they have some really cool features built into this. The first being an LED light on the front to light up what you're working on. And then my favorite is going to be the 3 different speed or power settings. So you'll see speed 1 has 200 inch-pounds of torque, which is a relatively low amount, and it will prevent you from messing up, let's say, stripping out a screw head or something. And then they have speed 2, which is 700 inch-pounds of torque. That's going to be for moderate use, but if you want real heavy-duty use, you bump it up to speed 3, and that gives you 1600 inch-pounds of torque. So that is a tremendous amount of power when you look at a 1/4" hex impact driver, and it's going to do basically anything that you need it to do, and it's going to do it very well. Now they do offer this with a variety of options. You can get it as a bare tool itself with no battery or anything except for the impact. And that's going to be model 2653-20. But what I got was the kit. That came with 2 extended 4.0 batteries, a charger, a protective case, and the tool. That's model 2653-22. And then if you want a lighter version, you can get the compact batteries. So instead of 4 amp hour batteries, they have 2 amp hour batteries. And that would be model 2653-22CT. So depending on what you actually want, you're going to want one of those 3 different models. But next I'm going to show you what comes in that kit, and then we're going to see some clips of this being used. Here's the case that comes with the kit itself. It's a very nice heavy-duty blow mold plastic case, and it comes with a carrying handle on the top as well as metal latches. I'm going to go ahead and open these latches up, and inside is the 2653 along with a 4 amp hour high capacity battery already installed. Now a real nice thing about Milwaukee batteries, you can see this little button on the front. If we press that, it'll show us the battery charge. So we'll press it, that's called the fuel gauge. So you can see there's 4 lights, that means this battery is fully charged. But a real nice thing about the lithium batteries, from start to finish, so when they're fully charged all the way to when they're fully discharged, they're going to have the exact same amount of power output to the motor itself, and you're not going to have any power fade like you would with an older NiCad battery. They have a second battery in the kit itself, as well as a dual voltage charger that will charge not only the M18 series of tools, but also the M12 series of tools. So if you have multiple tool types from Milwaukee, this will charge both of them, and you're not going to have to worry about having 2 separate chargers taking up space on your workbench. In the lid, they have operator's manuals for the charger and the batteries, as well as an operator's manual for the impact itself. So if you have any questions about how anything works, everything's going to be covered in those manuals, and you can keep them in the case. Now one other thing I want to point out with the impact is going to be the belt clip. Now it's set up from the factory for a right-handed person, but it's nice because there's a screw on here. You can unscrew that. You can move it to the opposing side, and now it would be set up for a left-handed person. It's really nice because the gun will hang right upside down and hang on your belt, and you don't have to worry about it being flipped around backwards because that belt clip is reversible. Now I'm going to show you some clips of this in action. Okay, here's going to be a demonstration of the 3 different power settings. I'm going to use 3 3-inch long coarse thread drywall screws, and the first test I'm going to put it on speed setting 1. So this is how fast it's going to go in with the lowest speed setting or lowest power setting, which is 200 inch-pounds. You can see it'll drive it all the way in. It just takes an extremely long amount of time. So if you're working with real small screws or small fasteners, that's where that speed setting is going to be used. Now we're going to bump it up to speed 2, which is 700 inch-pounds, and drive another screw in. You can see that's a lot faster and would probably be best for like building decks. But if you want to bump it up to the 3rd speed setting, which is 1600 inch-pounds, here's how fast it'll drive that same exact screw in. So there's a quick demonstration of the 3 different speed settings. It is a very versatile tool, and I typically use it on the 3rd speed setting. But if I'm putting something together like, let's say, a door lock where it is using brass screws, I always bump that down to speed setting 1 just because it won't mess up the end of the fastener and it won't strip out the screw head. Okay, for the first test I'm going to drive 4 3-inch coarse thread drywall screws into this 6x6 post. And when I do this, it's going to be on speed setting 3 or power setting 3, which has 1600 inch-pounds of torque. So just watch how fast this will drive them in. And this is sinking them below the surface. So, I mean, it runs them down like a drill, and then as soon as it starts hitting some pressure, it's going to kick in those impacts. So if you were building a deck or something, that'll sink them very nicely, and you probably could use it on speed setting 2, but this is just for the speed demonstration. Now I'm going to go ahead and change this out, and I'm going to be using a 13mm socket to drive in some 3-inch lag bolts, or lag screws. So here they are, and I'm going to drive these down until they're flush. So one at a time, we're going to drive these into the 6x6. That one's down. And finally, our last one. Now I'm going to take this out of here, and I'm going to use a 1-inch speed bore bit. This is a hexagonal end on here. This is really not recommended for impact rated, but I'm going to go ahead and drill some holes with this now. And I'll keep this on speed setting 3 just to see how it does. And you can see it sunk it all the way down. And I'll go ahead and do another hole. I'm really surprised that it did that on speed setting 3, but man, that 6x6 didn't want to let go of the drill bit, but it went right down through there until it bottomed out. Okay, I just drilled 2 holes into the side of this computer case, but I hit the frame of the actual case itself instead of through solid sheet metal, so I'm going to try this over again. But I'm going to start out with the 3/4 inch shockwave bit, and I'm going to be using a Milwaukee 2653 M18 FUEL 1/4 inch hex impact driver. I'm going to be using this on speed setting 3, which is 1600 inch-pounds of torque, and this is a very, very powerful 1/4 inch hex impact driver. So with the 3/4 inch bit, I'm going to now drill through the side. And you can see it already popped the plug right out of there. We're going to move on now to 7/8. Same thing, pop the plug right out. Now we're going to try the 1-inch. It popped the plug right out, and it's because it has that ejector spring around the actual pilot bit itself. So I'm not having to fish that little piece of metal out of the hole saw itself. So I'll pop that out of the shank. We'll move up to 1 1/8 inch. It popped it right out of there. So far we haven't had any failures. And now we're at 1 1/4. And really, this is extremely fast, and it is amazing to me that I'm doing this with an impact driver. You would think with a hole saw it would really mess things up, but these seem to hold up very well. Now I'm using 1 3/8 inch. It popped it right out. So far we're 6 for 6, and now we're going to try the 7th size, which is the largest, 1 1/2 inch. So we'll pop this in the 2653, make sure it's nice and snug, and now we're going to do our final hole. It also ejected it, and there were no problems whatsoever. Okay, so we all saw the 2653 drive these 3-inch long lag screws into the 6x6, but I want to do something a little more extreme. So instead of using these, I'm going to use a 5-inch long by 5/8 inch thick lag bolt that I use with my 2763 videos. So this is an extremely large lag bolt, and just to give you some size comparison between the two, here is the 3-inch long ones that we just drove in, and then here's the 5-inch long one next to it. So this is way overkill for the 2653, but what I'm going to do is use a 1/4-inch hex to 1/2 inch adapter, and then a 24mm 6-point impact socket. We're going to plug that into the 2653, and we're going to see if the lag bolt will be able to be sunk into the 6x6. So here it goes. There you go, the 2653 sunk the 5-inch lag into the 6x6 post. It took some time, but it was able to do it. That took an extreme amount of torque in order to drive that into this post, and I honestly don't think most regular impacts would be able to do that. So now you've seen the Milwaukee 2653 1/4-inch hex impact driver for yourself. Now some other things I want to talk about. This does have something called Red Link technology built in. And basically what that is a tiny computer that talks to the tool, the motor, and the battery. And if it feels any one of those is either being overloaded or overheated, it's automatically going to cut power until it's safe to use again. So if you're really using this hard, you're not going to be able to accidentally mess anything up, because that Red Link technology is going to prevent you from accidentally being able to damage it. Now let's say you ever have a problem with it. You go out to the truck one morning and pull the trigger and just nothing happens. That's going to be a warranty claim. And luckily Milwaukee has a great warranty. Milwaukee's warranty on the tool and the charger is 5 years. And on the battery is 3 years. So if you ever have a problem with it and it's not your fault, they're going to cover it. Now if this falls off the roof, or maybe falls off the bed of your truck going down the interstate, that's not going to be covered by the warranty. But if you do go out and pull the trigger, or something internally breaks and it's not your fault, they will cover that, and it's not going to cost you a dime. If you like this video, please click like. If you like my channel, please click subscribe. And thanks for watching.